The tech kaiju dilemma continues. For anyone not in the loop yet, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, here's the short version. I'm in the process of building a world where humanity is trying to recover from essentially a catastrophic world war that leveled most cities and infrastructure. In the chaos that followed, or maybe because of it, we don't know, kaiju awoke and began roaming the land and fighting each other and just generally being a nuisance. And there's more to it than this, but that's the extremely condensed synopsis, basically. So each kaiju in this world has what I'm calling an origin. There are fire origin, water, I've got to remember them all now, fire, water, nature, mutant, spirit, alien, and then the one that we're talking about today, tech. Tech kaiju is where things start to get complicated for me. So this is the source of my latest dilemma, if you like. I asked on YouTube for people's thoughts about this because, honestly, the tech origin, I've been really struggling with finding the right place for it to fit with everything that's happening in this world and to fit comfortably with the world building. And I think I've worked out why, but let's see what you think. Essentially, although this is for lack of a better term, a post-apocalyptic setting. I don't like that term post-apocalyptic because it sounds too bleak or nihilistic. And it's not that. This world is supposed to be kind of, although everybody's living in this state of kind of turmoil, it is supposed to be positive, and there's, this idea of community and rebuilding and kind of reconnecting to nature and stuff as well. So it's not like Mad Max or The Walking Dead or something where everybody's out to loot and pillage and destroy each other and everybody's a very, very selfishly based person. People are actually working together as communities. So overall, the tone of this world is hopeful and cooperative. Because conventional technology has been all but destroyed, humanity has had to kind of lean back on fundamental survival. As a result of that, they discovered the powers of the mycelial network. This has essentially become the new technology. It's a more natural, intuitive, spiritual, metaphysical technology rather than the more mechanical, physical-based machinery that we would use today. And so people can access this kind of mycelial network. They can access what's called the mycoweb through effectively what are kind of like microdosed DMT trips, where they kind of can access information, they can communicate. There's all sorts of things you can do with this mycoweb in order to understand the world around you in more detail. And again, it is this connection to nature, and that's something that's quite prevalent in this world, a connection to nature. And so technology didn't disappear, we just have this symbiosis with a more natural technology. So it's like it just branched off onto a different evolutionary path, one that's more mysterious, enigmatic, and deeply tied to the living world. And that leads us to the real question, which is there a space for tech kaiju in a world like this? Is the mic moving? Do they fit in at all? Because initially, you see, I was thinking of these big Gundam type mechs fighting kaiju, which obviously, is a cool thing. But I don't think the lore really supports that. And that just shows how important the lore has become to this project. So, yeah, I asked the question on YouTube, and this is some of the responses. Handsome Matt says, "Nah man, giant mechs, robots sounds awesome. Do whatever in the lore to make it work, in my opinion." And this was a popular opinion, quite a lot of you commented on the fact that you just wanted mechs to be in there because it's cool, it is cool, and that's why I put them in there in the first place. The idea of these huge giant robots battling kaiju is kind of, a staple of the tokusatsu genre, I guess. Noah Rockman says, "Sometimes the cool stuff is just cool, and doesn't need a super in-depth lore reason. There's certainly an argument to say, don't overthink it and just do it because it's cool and it's going to look cool and feel cool, you know. But I'm finding that without the lore, the visuals are just not coming to me. Like, I can't envisage what these tech kaiju look like, or a reason for them to look, you know, Gundam-esque. It doesn't seem to make sense, which feels like a bit of a kind of betrayal of the key principles, the key idea and lore behind the project. I mean, yeah, I could just draw some big mechs, but what's the connection there? Why? You know, who built the mechs? Why did they build them? Who pilots them? Do humans pilot them? If humans do pilot them, what's the purpose? If it's to fight kaiju, then that's not realistic in terms of the lore, because humans don't fight kaiju in this world. The kaiju fight each other. Remember, they've just come out of like the most devastating war that humanity has ever experienced. The last thing they're going to want to do is build more war machines to destroy the world further. Liam Taggart says this might actually be a good time to prioritize game systems over lore. Yes, it could be. The problem with that is that I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared of of the card game aspect of it. And to be honest, I think, you know, that's potentially an even bigger problem to solve than the tech kaiju problem itself. The card game is still going to happen. I'm still going to do the card game aspect of it, but the thing that's been exciting me more recently is the lore and designing the characters and designing the creatures and designing the kaiju. I'm not so motivated to come up with a game system at the moment. It feels like a lot of hard work, and it is a lot of hard work, and that doesn't mean it's not doable. It's just something that I think I'm not quite ready for yet. I think I need to put that on the back burner for a little bit. But it is still my intention. I am still going to do it, so don't worry about that. So back to these tech kaiju, what do we do? Well, a lot of you suggested things and suggested ways that they might be able to fit into this world, so let's have a think about some of those. Nerd Bear. I could picture a not fully anthropogenic origin for tech kaijus. During the war, there may have been developed drones, automated tanks, artillery towers and other military machines trained on AI with massive databases. Some of those machines and the databases guiding them may have been lost during the war, only to be colonized and connected to the mycelial network through some electrophoretic fungi that work as a biobattery for those machines. These machines could then combine with each other, move around, spread spores and infect other machines, and they work as a reminder of how products of war still linger and pose a danger long after war ends. And this was kind of a popular idea, introducing things like AI and the mycelial network taking over machinery and stuff. And I like this idea of the machines almost being like a relic of the conflict, that they almost represent the war symbolically, like they're a metaphor for war in themselves, sort of. This is a suggestion I give because I think giant mechanical monsters could still find a place in your world, but I also somewhat agree with, oh shoot, what up? You don't need to force a concept in your project if you feel it doesn't fit. Incidentally, oh shoot, what up said, don't listen to those weirdos telling you to ignore your gut. If your initial feeling is that it doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. Scrap it and find something that gives you the inspiration to keep creating. There's no shame in streamlining creative projects. That's just an opportunity to make a dedicated tech-based lore for another project later down the line, which is totally right. I mean, I'm not going to make a tech-based project later down the line. I think this is taking up enough of my time, but yeah, the principle there is totally right. If it's not working, don't try and sort of shoehorn it in. So another logical conclusion that a lot of people came to is this whole idea of AI, which is very, very kind of popular talking point at the moment. Crumpet sounds, AI. Humans were on the cusp of true artificial intelligence when the kaiju appeared. Left alone in deep laboratories, the AI developed true sentience, iterating on itself. Eventually the iterations push into the biological through organoids and bionic biomass. A few AI escape their subterranean prisons, See the kaiju and do what they know. Replicate, iterate, boom, tech kaiju. AI evolving and repurposing tech, etc. It's fine. It's there are a lot of sci-fi franchises where that works. It's a storyline that can work in certain worlds. I don't think that works in this world. It feels like a step too far, you know. And I'm also, I guess the real reason is I'm actually quite put off by the whole AI thing. I feel like it's a bit of a buzzword at the moment. And the whole AI gaining sentience conversation dominates the kind of current discourse. And yeah, I kind of feel like it's a bit done now. I don't want to kind of jump on the AI bandwagon, if you know what I mean. It doesn't feel particularly new or fresh, does it? You know, it's not that inspiring. So, not to belabor the point, but in a world where technology has evolved into this organic, decentralized, almost mystical thing, I'm still not seeing a way that mechanical kaiju can be justified yet. One of the most liked comments was by Ruby Heartfire, who said, "I still like the idea of them being emergent, like humankind put everything they had into building one, and something about the mycelial processing system goes awry, and the machine goes off the rails and starts eating all the tech, destroying any ability for humans to create more, as well as terrifying us away from the concept." So a couple of interesting things in there that I've touched on that I want to touch on, which is this. First of all, I really like the description of the mycelial processing network, the phraseology of that, that combination of three words. It kind of does well to describe that new paradigm of technology that we're talking about in this world. The idea of like a processing or like a biological machine. And also, I'm not exactly sure that this was Ruby Heartfire's point when they said this, but it triggered a bit of a thought process in my mind. The idea of the mycelial network, despite us not really knowing at the moment whether it has any kind of sentience or not, that it still has this sort of preservation of nature instinct, a fail-safe in place that senses potential threats and reacts to prevent them. And so, knowing the destruction mankind has caused with the war and everything, but also knowing that humans are a valued and valid species on this planet, it doesn't explicitly threaten them as such, but it is also intuitively aware enough to understand that they need to be tempered or managed somehow to mitigate disaster. It creates a way to limit or remove any kind of machines which humans might exploit again. Kind of like a parent taking away a dangerous toy from a kid or something. We lose control of this thing we created and have essentially one more kaiju. A few months later, we spot other kaiju of tech origin, twisted forms of emergent evolution, hulking bodies made of things we can recognise, like naval gunships, for example, but conglomerated by the mycelium into something strange and wild. Only then do we confirm our fears that we accidentally helped create an entire new species that we don't understand. I don't know, I still really like this idea, but it does kind of change how tech kaiju would even move and look. Like, it wouldn't exactly be Pacific Rim high-tech machines looking like Gundams, but maybe more like Evangelion, maybe even Fooly Cooly. Don't know what Fooly Cooly is. Somewhere in the mix of advanced machines and strange organics. Most would still not be humanoid, but all kinds of strange shapes. Yeah, I think definitely that idea of non-humanoid shapes would be more prevalent, especially if this is something that's collected by the mycelial network. You know, if you've essentially got the mycelial network going around tidying up the earth, if you like, kind of like these big fungal, I don't know what they'd be, like fungal masses, kind of like giant katamari, you know, like rolling around collecting anything that humans could potentially harness for danger, like these, you know, like naval ships, like was mentioned there, or tanks and I don't know, anything, and just sort of assimilating them into this big fungal blob that just rolls around and turns into like something. So then perhaps these like perhaps there's like these fungal entities that grow inside the tech, so almost like hermit crabs or something, like how hermit crabs like have their shell on and kind of can get out of their shell and go into another shell. Perhaps it's a case of like all of this machinery is kind of forms some kind of gigantic armor-based shell over this like very organic living fungal entity inside the shell, which is kind of piloting it in a way, but with an intent to take it away from humans, take it as far away from humans as possible. And then perhaps it would still, get into fights with other kaiju, and yeah, it's just on a mission to get away from humans, and anything that gets in its way, it fights. And Mark Pan touched on a similar thing here. Instead of machines built to be alive, the mutating mycelium network grew in ruins and trash of modern society. The result is a fungal kaiju with a protective shell of debris. So they are tech kaiju in the sense that they are made from man-made objects, and that's exactly it, really. That's what we're talking about here. And I'm starting to like this idea. I think it could be something. It's definitely, I think, more interesting than the alien, or the secondary alien tech faction that we were mentioning before. Having said that, I am still struggling to see what these things look like, or not what they look like, but how to give them enough variety. If you're going to create 7 of them, how do all 7 of those look different enough to be their own unique entity? So, removing the humans' dangerous toys, we have these fungal entities, Katamari type fungal entities, rolling around the land. Or they don't have to roll, that's just what Katamari do, but moving along the land, collecting all the leftover machinery, wearing it as a protective shell in order to take it to somewhere, we don't know where yet, and dump it away from the humans. Redacted 5353 said, I do really like mechs, and you could go with them being old creations now taken over by mycelium, but if it's more of a roadblock than a jumping off point, then scrapping it may be best. So yeah, another call for scrapping it if it's a potential roadblock, and that's definitely in the back of my mind. I'm not adverse to doing that. In fact, my leaning initially before I did this post was just to scrap tech kaiju altogether. Now I might be swayed a little bit on this whole fungal hermit crab Katamari type thing. And then Yotan, or Yo5Tan, I don't know, said, quite rightly, kill your darlings. It's okay, you have plenty of other ideas you can invest time and energy into. And I mean, Yotan, you've made this sound so simple, but then it is, isn't it, really? For those of you who haven't heard Kill Your Darlings before, it's a bit of kind of, I don't actually know who said it, I should probably research that, I might write it on the screen here, but it's a bit of a famous advice for writers, basically. It's the idea that when you're writing, or creating anything in general, I guess, it's the idea that you shouldn't be scared, or you should be prepared to get rid of anything and everything, even if it's like one of your favourite parts of the project you're working on. Don't be afraid to get rid of it if in some way it is creating a stumbling block for you in moving forwards, or it's, ruining some other part of the story or something. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, really. If you think about it, what I've done is I've started with a solution. I've started with this solution of tech kaiju, without there being a problem that needs to be solved. So now I'm trying to post-rationalize a problem rather than just saying the problem doesn't exist, so the solution is irrelevant. And so we're starting to get a little bit philosophical now, but essentially, I don't know, never say never, but at the moment I think it would be, Would I be super sad to dump Tech Kaiju altogether? I don't think I would. I would be happy to get rid of them, but I'd be a lot happier to keep them with a good sound reason behind it. Since reading these comments and kind of like taking little bits of each person's comment and, you know, melding that together, a bit like the Katamari type thing, I think that's a good way to go with this. I think that might be something I can perhaps like write up the lore for that and make something from it. So anyway, there's lots to go on, and I want to say thank you to everyone for your comments, because it has been really helpful. And so I think I'll go away and think about Tech Kaiju a little bit more, but also I'm going to go away and design a nature kaiju. In fact, that's a lie, I have been designing a nature kaiju already, so there's going to be a video out soon about that. But yeah, I just wanted to do this little video to kind of provide a little bit of an update and keep you in the loop, and, you know, it might be a bit of a stream of consciousness, so I'm sorry if this has been a bit of a boring video, because I mean, I don't even know what to do in these videos. Like, do I record myself talking, or, because otherwise what's the visuals going to be? Just some pixel blobs on the screen, you know? But yeah, I think we got somewhere, so look out for Nature Kaiju coming soon, and look out for the new whatever the lore is going to be about the Tech Kaiju too. So thanks for watching, thanks for the comments, and leave more comments, because it's really nice, and it helps the algorithm and all that as well. So yeah, thanks, see you soon.